Hey kindergarten! So I hope that your lessons are going well this week, that you've gotten started with your distance learning, and that you're able to do the activities I've sent for you, and you're enjoying doing that, doing some learning at home. So today what I want to talk to you about is the plant life cycle, all right? So when I say plant life cycle, you probably have some schema that's going on there, some things that you already know. So we know about plants, and actually before we went on spring break, which ended up lasting a very, very long time, we were talking about the parts of a plant. And so you will need that knowledge for what we're gonna be learning about next, because it becomes important, all right? That's how we build on our knowledge and build on what we know. So we'll be using some of those words and some of those terms. And we'll kind of review them in just a second. Life, that word, something that's alive, yeah. And then cycle. Now this might be a new word for you, but it's a word you're gonna need a lot. It's gonna come up a lot, because let me tell you, a cycle is a circle, all right? You ready? So cycle sounds like it should start with an S, right? But it actually starts with a C. Circle sounds like it should start with an S, but it actually starts with a C. So I want you to get your C's out for me. Get them ready. You ready? Get them ready. And we're gonna say a cycle is a circle. All right? So tell me that. A cycle is a circle. So a cycle is a circle that happens in the natural world. And a plant life cycle is what happens in a plant's life, and what happens to a plant that from the time that it is a seed until it grows up and can produce a new plant, and then what happens next and what happens next, and it keeps going around and around and around, and that's our circle, okay? So we're gonna talk about the plant life cycle. Before we do, let's just review some of the parts of a plant. Now, I know that if I start all the way in the soil at the bottom, I have the roots, right? And the roots pull in nutrients for the soil, or from the soil for the plant. And the roots come up to the stem, and the stem acts like a giant straw. And it sucks water all the way up to the flower and to the leaves. It also holds that flower up, because that flower, which is at the top, needs to be pretty and open and big so that insects can find it to pollinate. And the leaves need to be held up so that they can catch that sunshine, because plants make their own food from the sunshine. So those are the parts of a plant. Now inside the flower, it will create seeds, right? And so we've talked about those and about those parts of the plant. What I'm gonna show you today is how it goes around and around, all right? So every single plant starts the same, just like every human starts the same as a little bitty baby. And every plant starts off as a seed, right? Now I'm gonna show you a little activity later where you're gonna get to see, if you have some of this stuff at home, you'll get to see how a seed does this really cool opening up business. So a seed, when it's put in the soil, breaks open and sprouts, okay? So you see that the whole plant, it just kind of lifts out of that little seed. Now, it starts to sprout, and eventually it's gonna start coming out of that soil, because it needs to reach for the sunshine. And after that happens, you will get what's called a seedling. So just like a baby grows up, starts walking around, starts moving around, and becomes a child, a seedling, is what happens to a seed next. So the seed sprouts out of the soil, so it's standing on its own, it becomes a seedling. Now a seedling is gonna look like the grown-up plant in a lot of ways, okay? That's important. They don't all look exactly the same. There's different species of plants, And the seeds look different, the seedlings look different, and they're all specific to one type of plant. You can't plant a pumpkin seed and get a rose. It's just not gonna happen. So you get pumpkin, which isn't bad, right? So a seed becomes a seedling, and the seedling grows and grows and grows, just like children grow and grow and grow. And the seedling becomes a mature plant, okay? Now the word mature means grown up, right? And you might hear somebody say, oh, you're acting very mature because you're acting very grown up. So a seedling becomes a mature plant, which is like an adult plant. And then it's ready, okay? It's ready to make a flower, all right? So it puts out these pretty flowers. And right now it's springtime, right? And so it's easy to see flowers if you are going on some walks with your family. I know there's not a lot of places we can go right now, but you can still walk in your neighborhood. And today Lily and I took a scavenger hunt. We were looking for pink flower. We were looking for a lot of stuff, but one of the things we were looking for was a pink flower. And we found a lot of them because it's springtime, and that's when the mature plants start to flower. And then from the flowers, we will get a seed or a fruit. So after it flowers, you'll start to see it develop. So this is a tomato plant. A tomato is a fruit, it will come off of a plant. Or you'll see like these, this picture has some bean pods, and inside of that, a bean is a seed. I don't know if you know that. Or the flower will have seeds. Then this seed can get planted in the soil, and guess what? It all starts over again. And you can see how it makes a big circle. It's a cycle. Now each time a new seed starts and starts a brand new go around, that's a generation, okay? So, which is similar to how our families are with humans, right? Your grandparents are one generation, your parents are a generation, and then you and if you have siblings, are a generation. So this is how that circle works. Now I'm gonna show you some things so you can see how a seed opens, all right? This is an activity that I do it every year in the classroom, but since I don't have you guys with me, you'll have to do it on your own if you'd like. So you just need a couple things, a couple simple things. You need a plastic bag. This is gonna be your greenhouse. Do you remember when we went to the, on a field trip to the Judson Barnyard and we got to go to that room where they grow plants? That's called a greenhouse, and it's a place where a plant grows. So this is like a mini one. You need some seeds. And by seeds, guys, I mean some dried beans. So in your pantry, your family may have pinto beans, which are like the little brown ones, or these are lima beans. If they have lima beans, go for it. Pinto beans will work awesome too. Lima beans are just a little bit bigger, so you can see the process a little bit easier. But you're gonna just take a few, 2 or 3. And then you'll take a paper towel, okay? So this is water. I don't want it soaking wet, but I'm gonna get it a little wet. So I'm just gonna dip it in the end and then kind of wring it out. That's pretty wet, but that's okay. So I have a wet paper towel, and I'm gonna put it in this bag, and I'm gonna put these seeds in the bag. Okay, so I just put it in there, put my seeds in so I can see them. I'm gonna put a second one in there, because my paper towels are pretty little. And I like to fold it up so I can see the seed more easily. And this is gonna put some moisture in your bag. Okay. So I can still see the seeds. I don't know if you can see them, but they're in there. See them? So I can see the seeds. They're in a bag. That's it. That's it. That's my greenhouse. I'm going to turn this camera around because there's a window right behind the camera, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do next. If I can. Okay. I had to actually turn it, so I hope you guys didn't get dizzy. I thought I could flip it, but I couldn't on video. So then I'm just going to tape it in a window. Any window, even if it's not a window that gets like super direct light, it's still gonna work. Okay, like this window is under my front porch, and so it's not gonna get direct sunshine, but it'll get a little bit of light, and that's all it needs is just a little bit of light. So I'm gonna come back tomorrow, and then I'm gonna come back the next day, and I'm gonna come back the next day, and I'm gonna keep checking it, because I wanna see the seeds sprout. All right, so I want you to take pictures if you choose to do this, if you have the stuff to do it, and send me those pictures. Let me know how it's going. All right, I miss y'all. I love you. Bye.